Congratulations to the class of 2021.
Congratulations, class of 2021.
Congratulations, class of 2021.
Congratulations, the class of 2021.
Congrats, class of 2021. We finally did it.
Today is proof that those long nights at Harper Library and Regenstein has truly paid off. You now have the required skill sets and the critical thinking to make a positive impact on this world.
What an incredible accomplishment. I'm so proud of all of you. I'm so excited to see what you do next, and I'm wishing you all the very best as you begin this next chapter of your lives.
To those of you that are going into healthcare, the students that I tend to work with the most, I just want to say every single day, I am impressed and just amazed by your compassion, by your intelligence, your dedication, and I have hope every day for the future, knowing that you all will be the individuals who are making this world a better place through healthcare.
This is such a big deal, and I hope you get to celebrate yourselves to the fullest, because you absolutely deserve it.
Whoa, you did it. What a great feeling. Happy graduation, congratulations, happy spring, happy new beginning. Enjoy.
It has been such a pleasure and an honor to get to know you in the last 4 years, and I'm really looking forward to seeing where your paths take you after UChicago. I know that no matter which path you take, you're really going to move and shake things up for the better. So keep up the good work. I hope you're as proud of yourselves today as we are of you.
By making it this far, you have triumphed over adversity. Not for the first time, and certainly not for the last. But whatever the future holds for you, I hope that you will take all of the things that you have learned at the University of Chicago, all of the skills, all of the ideas, all of the bonds that you have forged, and use them to strive for a more just and equitable future.
It's been my privilege to get to know so many of you over the last 4 years, and to have even read some applications from some of you and admitted you to the University of Chicago. I know you're destined for great things, but really, I hope that you go out and challenge yourself, push your limits, and try new things. And of course, as a UChicago alum, I have to tell you to never stop learning. But I know you'll do that anyway.
Much congratulations. I'm very proud of all of you, and I will miss you.
I specifically want to thank RSO leaders for continuing to create a sense of community in this hybrid quarter. You helped bridge the gap for those who missed campus, and then for the new students who maybe have never been on campus, by continuing that sense of community with your clubs and organizations. So we really appreciate you for that contribution. I hope that you continue to create that sense of community wherever you go next, in all the spaces that you occupy, and you'll be greatly missed.
Do the things you think you can't, but know you should, and let other people say no to you.
I hope you're able to celebrate. You definitely deserve it. I also hope you take every opportunity you get to travel, to see the world, and to make it a better place.
It has been so wonderful to see all of your amazing achievements, and we are so excited to see what the future holds for you. Congratulations!
I know it's been an interesting 4 years, but at minimum you are set when asked, tell us a time when you faced adversity. But more importantly, you are leaving with a degree from University of Chicago with hopefully some great memories and, more importantly, hopefully some lifelong friends. I'm constantly impressed with the University of Chicago students, and this year's class is no different.
Hope you take some time to celebrate and recognize this huge accomplishment. Wish you all the best with this next phase of your life, and I encourage you to stay in touch. Remember that we're here for you.
In September 2019, I was lucky enough to go with some of you to our program in Florence, Italy. I wish you all a lot of international travel in your future. Please come back to visit us and tell us all about it.
Congratulations, come back and visit us for homecoming. Come back and see Honey the Duck and her little chickadees. And also, be on the lookout for Instagram page at UChi Class of 2021, which will go live once you graduate, because that's the way that you can stay connected with your class. Peace and congratulations.
Class of 2021, congratulations on graduation. I am so excited for you, and I know how hard you've all worked to get to this point. It's a fantastic achievement, and never forget that.
To all the up-and-coming graduates, no matter what happens, there will always be $1 milkshakes on Wednesdays. I will never forget all the late-night caffeine-infused study sessions at the Reg, which evolved into random debates on issues bearing no relation to what we were learning in class. I will forever cherish the friendships forged during late-night study breaks, movie nights, and endless trips to Chinatown.
Learning isn't restricted to the walls of any institution or classroom. As someone who designs games and teaches, I've always thought that the best learning is a subset of play. So what I wish for you in the broader world is a life filled with robust, creative, ethical, and enlivening play that enriches your own experience and your connection with other people.
Some of you may be the first in your family to graduate from college, and others of you have overcome so much to arrive at this day. There's just so much to celebrate, and we hope you can take some time to reflect and really appreciate the hugeness of your accomplishments.
Congrats, class of 2021. We finally made it. Best of luck in your future endeavors.
On behalf of college programming and orientation, we wish you all the best and cannot wait to welcome you back on campus as alumni. Cheers.
A successful class is measured by how many questions it generates and how many of those questions remain unanswered. That's a University of Chicago education. You came looking for answers, but leave asking the right questions. Godspeed to you, and stay in touch.
I guess one of my favorite memories from UChicago has got to be my Metcalf internship in Hong Kong. I met some of the coolest people through that experience, and I had such a great time.
A huge and heartfelt congratulations to everyone graduating today. Especially through the challenges of the past year, you have all consistently impressed me with your sharp and creative thinking, your excitement about ideas and what they can do in the world, and your profound and thoughtful engagement with the concerns of the contemporary moment. I've learned a tremendous amount of working with you.
My pleasure to congratulate you on your wonderful achievement. And as you've probably noticed by now, your graduation isn't really the end of your education. It's actually the beginning of your education, which will be lifelong. But you'll be facing your future with strong confidence in your ideas and critical thinking skills.
Much success in all future endeavors and on the career paths that you individually will choose. Once again, remember to stay firm in principle and remember to always pay it forward. Congratulations again.
It has been an absolute joy, a true honor to have been part of your journey year after year, but especially after this last year. I am so blown away by your energy, your dedication, your perseverance, your general awesomeness. And we are all so happy for you, so proud of you, and I wish you all the best in whatever is next for you. Congratulations, muchísimas felicidades, Sorionak.
Congratulations to each and every one of you.
Congratulations.
Good luck and congrats again.
Congratulations.
Congrats again.
Congratulations, class of 2021, and keep striving.
I want to welcome you to college's Class Day celebration. Since its inception, Class Day has served to honor the many considerable accomplishments of our students graduating from the college at the University of Chicago. This is itself a magnificent accomplishment that you, your families, and we on the college have seen with anticipation, although the journey to this event has moved, paused, and redirected in ways that none of us could have imagined 4 years ago. In every Class Day, we recall unique feats of learning and insight testifying to the liberal arts culture that you have absorbed and empowered at the university with your curiosity, independence of mind, and resolve. For you, the class of 2021, there ought to be profound satisfaction as we pause to survey this historical moment and the challenges that you've weathered in arriving here. The entrance of COVID-19 commenced a period of uncertainty that most of us will remember sharply for the rest of our lives. I know that each of you has your own story of the pandemic and the struggle to contain and to think past it while committing to the pursuit of knowledge and the civic leadership that brought you to the college. All of this has been a great test, both individually and communally. These challenges are not yet at an end, but we can look with justified optimism to a day not so far in the future where the life of our campus and the city is coursing with relationships and ideas that are nourished by our physical presence and enjoyed without fear or vigilance. Our campus is a place of great vitality, and I want you to know that our plan is to return to our treasured customs and routines in the autumn, performed with renewed appreciation in our classrooms, our house lounges, and our dining halls. Outside, the world that will benefit from your insight and engagement becomes brighter and more hopeful with every passing week. I'm enthusiastic to greet all of you in person at alumni events in the fall and to warmly invite you to return to campus for Family Weekend. We will plan to recollect, but not relive, the Zoom experience at that time. This progress is founded on our common sacrifices and on the heroism of many who have safely and prudently managed our difficult campus reality. They deserve our greatest thanks. But it is also due to the extraordinary grace and resilience of the class of 2021. You've displayed the fundamental qualities of scholars and leaders who persist in times of challenge with conviction and determination, and find that the rewards of knowledge are deeper and more lasting because they are hard-won. As your dean, as well as a parent and a grandfather, I can assure you that these qualities will work powerfully for the common good, enriching your lives and those around you. The college is more than bullish about your future. So this weekend gives many causes for joyful celebration. Tomorrow, the University of Chicago will confer degrees on the class of 2021, a moment of special anticipation because we will see all of you in person in your caps and gowns at your diploma ceremonies, triumphantly concluding your college experience with your classmates, those who entered alongside you and ready to enter the world as a graduate of one of the world's great universities. Let me join your families and friends and instructors now in expressing my congratulations and my immense pride in your arrival at this day. We're delighted to commence our celebration with the remarks of our first student speaker, Justine Shih, a neuroscience and music major from Columbus, Ohio.
Thank you, Dean Boyer, for the warm introduction and for your leadership over the last 4 years on behalf of the graduating class. Hi, everyone. I am so thrilled to finally be able to say these words. We tend to measure most of the biggest milestones in our lives by the destination. And yet here we are, where that destination doesn't look the way we thought it would, because it's not filled with friends and family, hugs, or parties. We can recognize our privilege in the world and still mourn the losses we feel, because relative pain is not diminished. This past year is proof that the means are often as important as the end, and the value that something like graduation holds isn't everything that came before this point. So what came before? There's 1,600 of us. Think about the sheer number of experiences you've had over these 4 years, and multiply that by 1,600. We are all such uniquely different people, molded by the experiences that we alone have gone through. And yet somehow, we are still able to find where we are similar, and those matter more. We have been dismayed by elections here and beyond. We have gasped as we read the Maroon or the New York Times. We have smiled through tears and masks. We've grumbled about Hume, gotten a drink from our favorite coffee shop, stayed up far too late, made stupid and smart mistakes. We've sat in the quad on the first day of nice weather in a while and thought, this isn't too bad. We've been knocked over by Chicago winds and UChicago burdens and ourselves, and we're still here. There were times we felt hopeless in the face of an assignment that felt like the end of the world. And there were times we really thought our world was ending. But it never did. We made our way across those cobblestones, even when it flooded a ridiculous amount every time it rained, even when there were 3 winters before a spring. So if you ask me to look back, I think it is through challenge that we learn of the meaningfulness of some things. From the journeys that were unpaved or uphill, but we took anyway. Maybe you'll think of the test you failed, but the relationship you forged with the professor or TA through getting their help. And these RSO events that went far from perfect, but created a stronger bond between members. And the friendships that were born out of shared difficulties. A tough class, a late night at the reg, a bad decision here and there. These relationships endow us with the strength to move forward. See, what we share is a period of time between 2017 and 2021 of memories, both good and bad, but that have made their mark and come to define us nonetheless. As we branch off, move on, and move away, the world is even bigger and scarier out there. And there's no question that we will face uncertainties that we never expected. But that's what keeps it exciting, is the fact that we never stop learning. If there's one thing the school has taught me, it's that. This is just the beginning, and it's prepared us well. We are bound by this mark of strength of now being a graduate from the University of Chicago. I know that is something that I will never forget, and I hope you do too. Our next student speaker is Rodrigo Estrada, a joint bachelor's and master's degree candidate in economics and international relations from El Paso, Texas, and a 2020 Truman Scholar.
Growing up 5 miles from the US-Mexico border in one of the poorest towns in Texas, I learned the importance of building bridges at a very early age. As a first-generation, low-income student, I didn't have a direct bridge to places like UChicago. In fact, upon coming to UChicago, I learned that I was the only student from my entire region in the class of 2021. But as I walked through Cobb Gate during orientation week, I immediately found myself in a community committed to building bridges between people, ideas, and possibilities. Even in this time of physical and social distancing, we haven't lost sight of what connects us to UChicago and to each other. African-American writer Ralph Ellison once said, "Education is all a matter of building bridges." Our education has equipped us with the necessary tools to build bridges, not just in theory, but in practice. Critical thinking, free speech, and human empathy are all essential for fostering greater communication between peoples from diverse backgrounds and crossing between disciplines to forge new ways of seeing and saying. Whether it's linking ideas across the core to better understand the human condition, or interviewing frontline workers to document their experiences for future generations, our class has built lasting bridges in the rigorous pursuit of knowledge. Time and time again, our class has paved the way for others to become connected, recognizing that a community is only as strong as the connections within it. In that spirit, fellow classmates created a mutual aid network to connect to others in the community and to give and receive aid in the form of food, financial assistance, and PPE. More recently, students and alumni from around the world gathered together for our beloved annual scavenger hunt, determined that SCAV must go on. From working with the broader South Side through student-led initiatives, to connecting with diverse cultures around the world through study abroad, our class has shown a willingness to engage a diverse and interconnected world. My border community is often described as dos países, una comunidad, 2 countries, 1 community. In that same spirit, our class can be aptly called varios países, una comunidad, countless countries, 1 community. In the face of growing divides, the task of building bridges has never been more important. Confronting the tremendous divisions before us requires sharing ideas, finding common ground, and using what is right with the world to remedy what is wrong with it. Only then can we bridge the gaps of injustice and inequality and span the institutional chasms laid bare by a global pandemic. Like many of you, I'm a better scholar and person for all the lasting connections I've made in the classroom, on the quad, and at the reg. Whether you ultimately stake your claim in public service, academia, or the private sector, push yourself to build bridges. Bridges to connect common understanding to new knowledges, bridges to foster tolerance, and bridges to new frontiers. The world needs bridge builders, and the best bridges are built by those who look to the future and dedicate themselves to others. Thank you. Next up is our final guest speaker, Emily Robb, a philosophy and political science major from Los Angeles, California.
Thank you, Rodrigo. If I look back far enough in my texts, I could probably find the one I sent to my mom from my boarding school dorm room when I learned I got into UChicago. I don't need the screenshot to remember her exact words. "That's so great, sweetie. I didn't know you applied to state school in Illinois." And while she'll never admit to saying it, my mom's words have underscored so much of what this school has meant to me. The University of Chicago is always trying to overcome its geographical name, trying to reject its reputation as the place where fun comes to die, and oftentimes even trying to embrace it as a point of pride. And just like our school, we are all trying too. We are tryhards. We pushed ourselves in high school to get into a top college. We pushed ourselves through this place, starting at a sprint and signing up for every list host imaginable, before realizing we are actually running a marathon. Some of us were intent on being computer science students at the outset, only to find a passion for creative writing and conducting tours for admissions along the way. Others thought they'd study East Asian languages and civilizations, but somehow found themselves picking up a dead language and a second major just for fun. I decided to major in philosophy, so when people inevitably ask who my favorite philosopher is, I can respond, me. It's an expensive joke, I know. But all of these routes are what we make of them. There is no wrong turn in these journeys, and each new choice only contributes to the broader path of our interdisciplinary liberal arts education that has prepared us for our next chapter. And just to be clear, my mom is the most powerful, courageous, supportive, steel-willed woman I know. She single-handedly raised me and my brother, our fearless cheerleader and advocate, jumping through all sorts of hoops behind the scenes, unbeknownst to us. Of the colleges I applied to, UChicago was the only one that didn't give me a hard time about my financial aid application or ask me to provide proof as to why my abusive father wasn't included on it. It was the first time my mom didn't have to go to bat for me and my circumstances, giving her a moment to breathe. A small gift from the school that meant the world to me. But now is your time to pause, to reflect, and to take that breath of relief for yourself. Think about your cheerleaders, parents, friends, professors, mentors, and more, who have held their breath for you to be here today. You've made them proud by running the most exploratory marathon of them all, meandering through confusion at some points, picking up the pace at others, and adapting to the challenges you've encountered in unforeseen turns. Somehow, we found ourselves at the finish line, all together, a little bit tired, and a tad nervous for what's next. Whether it be grad school or a full-time role in a new city, or another adventure that is still in the works, know that you have the tools to succeed. You've already run the marathon that is this university without even realizing it. So, take one last victory lap and finish strong to celebrate yourself and those that got you here. Ride a divvy bike downtown, grab a smoothie from Robust, or visit the lake at Promontory Point one more time. For me, I'll be on the quad with a fish tank pretending I'm at our senior week Shed Aquarium formal, but mark these last days with celebrations old and new, however you can, wherever you may be. Pat yourself on the back and take a deep breath. You've made it to the finish line. Congratulations, class of 2021. Now, I've been given the honor of introducing this year's distinguished Class Day keynote speaker, Congressman Andy Kim. Congressman Kim currently serves the 3rd Congressional District of New Jersey and was first elected to the U.S. House of Representatives in 2018. We are honored to have the Congressman with us today. An alum of the college, the Congressman majored in political science, and after graduating in 2004, he went on to study international relations at Oxford University as a Rhodes Scholar and Truman Scholar. So please join me in welcoming Congressman Andy Kim.
Hi everyone, I'm Andy Kim, and I just want to thank you all for inviting me to be able to be your Class Day speaker, and I'm just so incredibly happy to be able to share this moment with all of you. I know this isn't how you imagine graduating from the University of Chicago, but it's so important that we recognize that our community, what you're doing, the steps that you're taking, that this transcends this moment. That this isn't just a day, it's a moment in your life where you're transitioning to this next exciting adventure and this effort going forward. And what I find so remarkable about this particular moment is that you're going through this transition, you're taking this next step during what is arguably one of the most historic moments in modern history. Right now, what we're going through as a country, as a world, this is a historic moment. It's not something we necessarily asked for, but we are thrust upon in there. We are experiencing an extraordinary challenge right now here at home with the pandemic and the economic crisis. But what we're also facing is a paradigm shift moment when it comes to our world, when it comes to this new era that we're emerging into. And you're right here at the nexus of it. I know it can be concerning. I know that it can be worrisome about the uncertainty about what comes next. I feel it too. All of us are feeling it, but I'm sure it's particular with all of you that you're going into this next step with this deep level of uncertainty about what comes next. But I hope you think about it, not just in terms of it being a challenge and a concern, but as an opportunity to step up and make your mark. For me, I graduated from the University of Chicago in 2004. And through my years in college, we were facing another historic moment as a country, as a globe. I was a sophomore in college when September 11th happened. And I'll tell you, I didn't even know where Afghanistan was on a map on September 11th. And that day, that experience, that moment changed the course of my life, set me on a path towards where I am now. And it was because I was at the University of Chicago during those formative moments, during that specific historic moment, that I was in a position to really contemplate and understand what I wanted my role to be. And I came to understand that in these moments of historical magnitude, the question now falls upon us to ask, what are you going to do about it? That when we recognize that we're at this inflection point where individuals can have tremendous impacts on what comes next, what kind of world are we going to be emerging into? What kind of world will my 3-year-old and my 5-year-old baby boys be growing up into? That's something that all of us have to contemplate. That's not just for leaders in Washington or business leaders or others to think about. All of us have to be thinking about that question. What are we going to do about this? What I experienced at Chicago, I sum up in a word of community. I came and experienced a community that changed the way that I understand my responsibilities, my roles with people around me, friends, family, strangers alike. And what I came to understand is that within our community, whether that was a community in Hyde Park, whether that was a community across Chicago or spread that out across our country, that there comes to be that responsibility. That we recognize that there are things that we are part of that are bigger than all of us. Now, what that responsibility manifests as, for me, was a sense of service. And that was something that really guided me, that became my North Star in terms of understanding what it is that I had to do. Now, my parents, when I was growing up, taught me a line that service isn't just a job, it's a way of life. It's about our fundamental connections with the people around us. It's not just some job that you do 9 to 5 and you hang up your hat at the end of the day. It's something that is intrinsic within us. And it's not just about government work, though. I certainly will put in a strong plug for people to work in government, because I honestly believe that you don't have good government unless you have good people working in government. But what we recognize is that it really requires an entire society to take on board more of that element of service, that we recognize that there are things that are bigger than all of us. I feel blessed to have learned these lessons in Chicago, whether it was the work that I did, the classes that I took in Committee on Social Thought or in the Core. University of Chicago also gave me an opportunity to work at the Chicago Coalition for the Homeless and really try to put that into practice and to be able to understand that these are not just words on a page or ideas in our minds, but something that we need to actualize and realize. That's the next challenge. And for me, I took that on board full force and dedicated my career to service. And I feel blessed that I get to do this job, that I get to represent in Congress my home district where I went to kindergarten, where my oldest son is now going to kindergarten. That me, as a son of immigrants, married to an immigrant, that I have the chance to do a job whose job description is written in the Constitution of the United States. That is a deeply humbling experience. And that word, that concept, really underpins what I believe is so important about recognizing that we live in this community, that we have a responsibility to one another, and that's grounded in service, is that we have to recognize in this moment, this historical moment, that we have to ground ourselves with a deep sense of humility. Right now, no one knows what's going to happen next. If anyone says they do, it's not true. We are all trying to make the most of this, trying to sort out, kind of feel around in the dark about what comes next. And that's where the humility needs to come. We recognize that we don't have all the answers, that we depend on each other to be able to make those connections and draw upon the best of us to try to come up with a way to be resilient through these difficult times. We have to be respectful for one another. And we need to make sure that we treat each other in that kind of way that we would hope to be treated back. That's something we're losing touch with right now. I really do believe that right now, with all the divisions that we face, whether the hyperpartisanship or the problems that we face in systemic racism and inequality, these deep problems that we see manifested, what we recognize right now, I truly believe, is that we are facing a crisis of empathy right now as a country. We're losing touch with what it's like to walk in someone else's shoes, to see the world through someone else's eyes, and trying to understand and draw upon our own experiences to try to understand the pain and the struggles and the opportunities of others. Therein lies that question about humility. That we can't assume that we know what's best for others. We have to engage and earnestly try to listen. I recognize that full force in my current job as I represent 750,000 people. And yes, these are 750,000 of my neighbors, but I don't know what is at the top of their priority list. I can't assume that they're all going through the same exact thing that I am. So it's important that we have that humility, which pushes us to listen, pushes us to try to find connections between us and to use some of those connections as foundations for that kind of empathy that we need. That we recognize that while we are dealing with so much challenge right now with the pandemic and all these other policy issues that we're dealing with, that it's not just about what we try to accomplish, but how we go about doing it and how we treat people along the way. I really do believe that the next few years will shape the next few decades of our country and, frankly, the world. And all of us are trying to figure out our way through that. You all are coming into this moment with such opportunity. And I know it's going to be tough and there's going to be challenges and a lot of uncertainty, but know that you're not alone. And if there's anything I can do to help, please don't hesitate to reach on out. I am so impressed and inspired by all of you. The grit and determination that you've gone through over the course of your lives and gone through with your education at Chicago in terms of what comes next. I want you to have every chance of living your best life and being able to have that kind of experience where at the end of the day, you can be proud of and satisfied of what it is that you accomplished. And if I can play any role in helping shape that, please let me know. It's not just me, the entire University of Chicago community. It's not just a moment in time that you're here, you're entering this broader community. And it is such a worthwhile and meaningful community. I never necessarily thought that people that I worked alongside and was in class alongside at the University of Chicago, that they would be the people that would be alongside me, standing by my side at my wedding, or visiting me and my wife when we had our first kid. But that's exactly what happened. That broader community was really there for me in the times that I needed, the good and the bad. And that's what makes it a community. So in these moments, in these historic moments, it's important that we recognize that we're not alone. And sometimes that can feel all the more difficult when we've been social distancing and been virtual so much over this course of the last year. But that's when we recognize what community actually is. And I hope you feel it. And I hope today gives you that sense that you're part of something bigger than all of us. And that your accomplishments are real, they're meaningful, and they are going to propel you forward into this new era with a tremendous amount of momentum. I am excited to see what you do with that. And I hope you draw from my words any bit of wisdom to be able to give you some sense of the excitement that you should have about what comes next. That we live in historic times. We didn't necessarily ask to be here, but that is what is happening. And future generations will ask us, what did we do? What did we do at this important moment in American history? And I want our answer to be that we did everything. We did everything we humanly can to try to fight for the kind of future that we want. That's what's on the line. No pressure, but there's a lot on the line. But instead of being fearful of it or having anxiety about it, I hope you take it as a challenge. That this is the challenge of your generation. To be able to work with our whole community to solve these problems and try to tackle it while also making sure that we treat each other with respect, that we conduct ourselves with humility, and that we recognize that we are all facing these same problems. And fundamentally, we share a lot of these same values and beliefs going forward. There's no doubt going to be disagreements, no doubt going to be big arguments along the way. I get it, I face it every day in the halls of Congress. But we cannot lose sight of that which connects us, which is the reason why the University of Chicago has the core curriculum, that we talk about things in that kind of fundamental way. I still go back to the lessons that I learned there in Chicago, in the cloisters there, in the quad, a lot. And I feel blessed to have had that experience and that kind of training, and has prepared me well. And I'm sure it has prepared you well. So I'm just excited. Good luck with everything to come. Know that me and others, we stand with you, cheering you along the way. To your parents, thank you for continuing to give your kids every opportunity. And as I'm now father of 2 baby boys, I know how hard that can be and how much you want to make sure everything can come out well. So congratulations, everyone. I'm really excited for you all and wishing you the best. Take care.
Greetings, students, family, and friends of the class of 2021. I'm Jay Ellison, Dean of Students in the college. I'm pleased to join you as we kick off Convocation Weekend with our Class Day celebration. Class Day honors you, our students, your many achievements as members of the university community. We share with you your success and celebrate your accomplishments and those of your peers in class. Thank you, Congressman Kim, for your remarks. The events of this past year continue an unprecedented time in the history of our nation and the world. Your work, your commitment to our country, and your words of wisdom for the class of 2021 are inspiring. Congressman Kim's comments today reflect the dedication of many college alumni, prompting future generations of UChicago students to value their education from our great university and to pursue the scholarly leadership it encourages and empowers them to contribute to the world. I hope that you too will be committed to encouraging your peers and the many who follow. I also thank Justine, Rodrigo, and Emily for sharing their unique perspectives on what their time at UChicago has meant to them. We are proud of your accomplishments and your intellect, and we look forward to seeing all that you can achieve in the bright futures that we know await you. To you, our newest alumni, I express my sincere hope that you will remain connected and engaged with the college, whether your plans include Hyde Park, a return to your hometown, or venturing off to a new city. You are never too far away from the University of Chicago. You join a network of alumni that is 180,000 strong, and I hope that you continue to be a part of this distinguished community of scholars throughout your life. There are many ways to remain connected to the university after graduation. Regional alumni clubs in cities across the globe, intellectual engagement events such as the faculty-led Harper Lectures, volunteer-led happy hours and book clubs, even signature career development programs created just for young alumni. No matter your interest, there are many ways to stay involved. And when you're feeling nostalgic for the quads, I hope that you'll return to campus. In closing, my sincerest congratulations to you and your families on the momentous occasion of your graduation. On behalf of the entire Dean of Students office in the college, I wish you much success and enjoyment in the years ahead. At this time, it is my distinct honor to recognize the winners of this year's Howell Murray Alumni Association Awards. The Howell Murray Award is one of the college's highest honors, recognizing graduate students who have made outstanding contributions to the university through their co-curricular activities. The students elected as this year's winners have been recognized by their peers and others on campus for extraordinary service to the college community. They have demonstrated a commitment to make your and their experience the best it could be. This is the 59th year that the university has presented the Howell Murray Alumni Association Awards. This year's award recipients are Nai Ashiti, Catherine Beavis, Brian Johnson, Carolyn Kim, Karina Kling, Allison Leon, Alice May, Natalia McCormick, Sharia Minuma Reedy, Xavier Packard, Vishnu Paranandi, Raven Rainey, Meru Santhunam, Tony Shin, Tiffany Vaughn, and Heather Weller. Congratulations to each of our award winners for their achievements, and thank you for your positive impact on our college community. And again, congratulations to all of you. We hope to see you again soon. Now it is my pleasure to welcome back the Dean of the College, John W. Boyer.
3 years and 9 months ago, I had the pleasure to address you in Rockefeller Chapel on opening day. It is thus a special privilege now to speak at the very close of your studentship at the university. You share with the class of 2020 a moving backdrop to your education that will accompany your ideas and reflections on the world in unsuspected ways. But you also share with generations of students in the college a rich trove of qualities and resources that are far more powerful and unifying. The Roman orator and statesman and distinguished humanist Cicero observed in his essay De Legibus that he had two patriae, two fatherlands, one by nature, the second by citizenship. The first was his homeland, a small city called Arpinum, 60 miles outside of Rome. The second was the Roman Republic itself, of which he was a proud citizen. For Cicero, the latter stood first in his affection, not only because its citizenship was highly coveted and privileged, but because it represented universal values that he deeply esteemed. From across America and the world, you came here to Chicago to become citizens of this great university. You remained loyal and engaged citizens of your hometowns and your neighborhoods, but in coming here, you too, like Cicero, became citizens of a second fatherland, a second patria, a university that has always had a noble and universal mission in American higher education. In graduating today, you join for the rest of your lives a community that many consider the ideal university, a place of integrity and authority and efficacious intellectual power used to encourage the development of the creative will. Down through the decades of our history comes a cascade of respect for the educational work of your university, for the good that it has done, for the creativity that it has nurtured, for the self-confidence and talent that it has sponsored in its students, and for the standards of excellence that it has demanded of all of us. The grandeur of our community, that which shines forth to each person who visits us, even for a short time, and that which graces each of us who have had the high privilege of joining this community as permanent members, is that it is a courageous and fearless place, a place of strong liberty and vibrant convictions. And out of all those convictions, and out of all the generations of free and open debate that they have sponsored and protected, has arisen an institution truly worthy of the meaning and the promise of the higher learning. Very few institutions in our society have had such power to enrich and to transform human life. You came to Chicago with immense hopes and ardent zeal, and you've worked mightily to be worthy of this great university and the special honor that attaches to anyone who passes through it. Just as we could not know the circumstances that would shape your distinctive experience at the college, we cannot know the particulars of what lies ahead in each of your lives. But we do know that you are strong and perceptive, that you have the energy and grace to begin to master the world, and that you will succeed and flourish and make significant contributions to all of your communities, to all of your patriae. It was a privilege to have you as our students. It is an even greater honor to have you as our alumni. I hope that you will help us to make the college an even more vibrant place for the students to come after you, and I also hope that you will remember the extraordinary impact that it has made on each of your lives. And so I say to you, in your new role as alumni, as I said in this chapel on that wonderful September afternoon, now almost 4 years ago, welcome to a most distinctive university. Welcome to a university that stands as a model for all other universities. Welcome to the University of Chicago. May you encounter great and good fortune in the fascinating journeys ahead, and Godspeed to all of you.